Hello everybody and welcome to your weekly forecast. This is for the week of October 9th and it will go from Monday through Sunday just like all the weeklies do. I am going to do one change this week, however. Unlike previous forecasts, this particular one is going to be using intuition only. So if I use cards, it'll be sparingly, but I'm going to try to go through without any cards. So with all of that being said, why don't we take a look at your overall advice for this week. So the initial message that I received for this week is, if I were to equate it to a tarot card, it would be like the Seven of Pentacles, which is focusing on your internal growth, on trying to take care of any part of your life that needs attention, such as your finances, your health, or even home improvements. And these sort of things that you invest in now are going to really come into fruition, not just later this week. We're looking at like the beginning of next year. So for your financial situation, really make sure that you're saving, that you're putting, if there's any sort of debt or consolidation that needs to be done, this is a good time to start to make those plans. For your health, really nice time to do anything like physical therapy or begin a new health workout routine that feels good, mind, body, and spirit you want to keep in mind. And for the rest of your life, it's really about taking care of things so that you're not taking for granted long-term maintenance. So that's why I mentioned also for physical items, your car and your house, it's a really optimal time to take a look and make sure that if you need to paint anything or fix a broken light or whatever it is, do something now so that you can avoid further either damage or something that could get worse. So really good time for preventative maintenance, for taking care of things, and for putting away for the future. Now let's move along to the blessing for the week. Your blessing is focused on the strength of your communications and particularly being as clear as possible. And so every opportunity you have to read over something before you send it, or pause before speaking, or even get a second opinion on something from like a lawyer or a trusted audience that is going to tell you constructively what you need to be working on, that's going to be very, very useful. So take time, proofread, pause, and with caution, deliver the messages. And I think that caution, clarity, and focus on effective communication is really going to bring you fabulous results this week, but it does involve patience, time, and care. Your block this week is not to go to extremes. This would equate, if I were pulling a card, to like the Ten of Swords. And this is about sometimes having either receiving something from someone that creates an emotional response in you, and then you can kind of hear and see the words coming and you don't stop it. So kind of building off of the blessing from this week, not letting someone get under your skin, and before you either decide to say things that you might regret, it's really about thinking about ramifications and thinking, is it worth it? And also, this is the interesting thing, a lot of times when you have as someone that works in more of the shadow areas or enjoys negative interactions, they feed off of your reaction. And so how do we deal with shadows? We can either transform them, we can also starve them. And so one way to kind of let go or to remove situations in your life where people are kind of getting under your skin or provoking you is to simply not react. You saw that idea of nonviolence with world leaders and luminaries like Gandhi, because you can't react to violence with more violence, or to have like incendiary words create more incendiary words. And although we don't have a lot of examples of that in today's society, maybe it was more, we saw like 20th century, there were some leaders, not so much in the 21st right now, but that will happen, that will change. That's why we're all working on ourselves. So lead by example and be stronger than the person that's challenging you, be kinder than the person that's challenging you, and react in a way that neutralizes the person, or I should even say the situations that might be challenging you. And if you do that, you can overcome the blocks for your week. Okay? Now let's look at each day of the week And again, we're going to continue to use intuition on this, and I'm also going to pull an overall thread for the week, which it is about your perception this week. We'll look at each day and see how that perception feeds into it, but I do believe things are, I've said this before, they're only as good or as bad as you allow them to be. So on Monday, this is a really good day for speaking your mind. And also, for those of you that are looking to either announce something to someone that you love, or try to find somebody new in your life and you want to take a risk and ask them out or do something like that, this is a good day for yes, going out on a limb and expressing your true love or your true opinions. But it's also a time to be vocal. So if there's other things in your life, particularly when it comes to business or finance, that are not feeling good for you, you want to take control of them on Monday. On Tuesday, we talked about that indecision. It's coming back, and you might be at a fork in the road where you have to basically trust yourself, trust the work that you've done, and realize that you're not going to be able to go to somebody else for the answer. And you'll have other opportunities down the line to do some course correction, etc. But you're going to have to make a decision, or you might have to just get started on something that you've been dragging your feet on Tuesday. So once you've done your homework, once you have the research, there's this sort of realization that there's always a time where you have to just begin. You have to take a chance. You have to make a decision. So Tuesday might be a little bit difficult for some of you to take that first step, but know that after you take the first step, momentum begins, and some of that weight that's on your shoulders will also be alleviated. As I'm looking at Wednesday, this is more of an opportunistic day. This is a day where things may come a little bit more easily to you, particularly if you've done the work in previous weeks and months to set up things. So this would equate to like a 3 of Wands sort of day where you start to see progress happening. Not progress on what you've done this week, but progress on what you've done before. And so you want to be open, ready, and alert so that you can make the most of this. If you get too mired down in some of the conflict that we talked about in earlier in the week, or just even not earlier in the week, but we were talking about like blessings and blocks, not allowing a lower frequency to kind of push you off path. That's the note here. Stay optimistic. Keep looking on the long-term decisions and the long-term outcomes rather than what's happening today or yesterday. Don't get too mired down in the weeds or the details of what's just happened. Thursday, this is your day of partnerships. Bigger group partnerships. So this would equate to like a 10 of Cups day, where if you're needing to lean on friends, family, or to go to an untapped resource, someone who maybe you've always been there for, or who's put out sort of like this opportunity that says, hey, if you're ever in the area, look me up, or if you ever need assistance with this, I have a referral for you. You want to follow up on leads, and you want to expand your network on Thursday. Friday is simply a day for you to start to enjoy yourself. I say this from time to time when I'm doing the monthlies, but play, relaxation, enjoyment, it's really key to being able to allow the mind to unwind, to be more productive ultimately, and it's something that we don't see a lot. I can only speak for what I'm noticing in like America at the moment, but I think other Western countries, whether it's the UK, Canada, etc., there tends to be a lot of focus on productivity, work, the bottom line, and although all of that does have its place, it's also very, very important for you to enjoy, celebrate your successes, and celebrate the fact that it's Friday and that you got through the week. Whatever it is, little things are good, but I would rather you spend some time with either with yourself or someone that you love, and just enjoy. There doesn't have to be anything that's going to be practically good about this day, other than the fact that you're letting off some weight, some emotional weight, and letting go of tension. It's really important. As we look at Saturday and Sunday, Saturday is a day when extended family may play a part for you. Now, for those of you that might not have like blood relatives, this extended family can be close friends in your life, but I feel like some sort of an extended friend or family is going to call on you or need your help, or it's a good time to check in on people that you've been a little bit lax on, like picking up the phone, emailing, etc. So good day for outreach. Not really a practical outcome to that other than it's important for us to have that extended network when we need it in the future. So don't be afraid to just do a little bit for others. And if everything's kind of okay with your friends and family, it's a great day for service, for volunteering, for doing something in your community, or just doing something to better the world. So great day for service. As I look at Sunday, this is a day where you're going to be reflecting more on money. It really does read as money, finances, and future. So this is the time to take out an Excel worksheet, do your budget if you haven't, also kind of be honest and real with what your true needs are and how your spending habits relate to that, so that it's a time to really to make some decisions that could help you throughout the rest of not just the week but the month, as far as you have to know what you need before it can come to you. So on a metaphysical level, understanding what your needs, desires, and wants are so that the universe can help fulfill them is going to be really important. Okay? Let's expand the forecast. And when I initially began these, I did them in earth, water, air, fire, etc. I'm going to do the same, and I will still speak a little bit about each of the signs. Again, I'm not going to be pulling cards this week, but I will give probably more detailed information about each. So let's start with fire, and we'll begin with Aries. Aries, for you, this week is a great week for activation. So if you've been doing a lot of preparation or have been waiting to sort of turn the ignition and begin a project, you're very well supported this week to do so. And if you aren't in that sort of area where you feel like you're ready to begin something, then what you can do is dig into some research. Either way, I want you somehow on the path to manifestation. So execute on something that you've planned, or if you're feeling like you just wrapped up something, this is a time to indulge a little bit in research. It should be fun though. So for some of you, like if you're a creative person, if you're a dancer, you could go and see the ballet. If you build houses, you could actually, go and look at beautiful architecture around your city. If you're a cook, go eat at a great restaurant and enjoy the experience. You get the idea. Whatever it is that you do in life, celebrate some of that. Get inspired by other people. And there you go. That's your channeled information for this week. Leo, your message is, this is about making sure that you are satisfied in your life. And the word I got was satiated. So if you're doing something for work or for school where you might have initially thought that this was something that you love to do, maybe you were even pushed or encouraged by friends or family, but this is no longer creating a sense of joy or completion in your life, what I'm really getting this week is it's a chance for you to course correct. So either looking at how to plan for a plan B or an escape route, or how to speak up. And perhaps, like again, if you're in school, you can change your major. If you're in a job, sometimes you can put in for a transfer. This isn't always possible, but you can start to explore options, and that's really the advice for this week. And for our third and final fire sign, for Sagittarius, love is what's coming through. And so whether this is you need to love yourself more, or you need to spend time on your love relationships, some of you may be seeking out ways to express your love. And this can be, if you're creative, you don't always have to be partnered for that. But overall, feeling, expressing, and it's not about rationalizing, it's just about going through your heart space. So at the very least, in your meditative practice and in your self-care practice, this is about doing things that open the heart chakra, whether it's exercises, activities, or just releasing some of the pain for those of you that are going through loss or a difficult time. Let the tears come, because I even feel my tear ducts activating for some of you, and just let those emotions out. Now let's move along to Earth, and we'll begin with Taurus. Taurus, I get a couple of messages for you actually. This is a very eventful week. If I were to assign a sort of tarot card that would be closely associated with it, it could be like the Tower in reverse, but I also get a sense of the Priestess energy running through this as well. And so what that means for you is it's a really great time it's almost like a lightning bolt of intuition that can come through. So big ideas, for some of you, a chance to think of radical ways to change your life, whether that's a decision that you wanted to move or go for a new job or decide to really take a chance on yourself or a business, whatever it is. I want you to sit with it for a little bit, but it feels like a very good opportunity. For some of you, it might be something that's been there latent and waiting to come out, and either an event in your life or just this flash of intuition comes through to you. And so I want you to honor it and take advantage of it. If you're not feeling that flash of intuition, it's just a great time to make big changes in your life. So particularly when it comes to, at the very least, a health practice. So deciding to be more active, deciding to take care of something in your body, maybe an elective surgery that you need to take care of before it gets too late. So this is a great chance to take that first step and believe that even if other people think it's impossible, that if it's tuned into your heart and to your higher self, this is something you should follow through on. Virgo, for you, it's a very expansive week. And if we were to look at a tarot card that would equate to this, it would be like the Seven of Cups, which is a chance to daydream, explore, entertain possibilities. Try not to limit yourself too much this week, because what you want to do is reach for all of these opportunities, at least mentally, and think, how would it feel to try this? Would this sit well with me, etc. So don't close any doors this week. Focus on expansion. If you happen to be feeling a little bit overwhelmed, because this can also be about environmental things that seem to be closing in or a lot of noise in your life, it's also a note for you to, at work, perhaps ask for prioritization or assistance. If you need to go to somebody that you trust, whether it's a counselor or a friend or a mentor, and just run some of this past them to check your own intuition, that's also good. And to limit noise when and if possible. So some of you might have to say no to some social engagements, may want to sort of enhance your home environment so that you're not going to sleep with the TV, or you have a white noise machine just to sort of like help you relax, help you tune things out. Do what you need to do to achieve equilibrium and to really continue to let your mind explore opportunities. Capricorn, as I tune into your information for this week, I have the this is a chance for you to undo something that you kind of have gotten yourself into that you may not like. So this would equate to almost like a Three of Swords reversed. So maybe there was an argument a month or two ago, it didn't end the way you wanted it to. There could be another part of your life, could be an investment that's been making you unhappy, or things that were left sort of as broken and not quite picked up or sorted out. I would like for you to look back on the situation and either make peace with where it was and let it go, or if there's a need to make amends, either to speak your mind. For some of you, it might be about self-empowerment and having to speak up and saying, you know, you did this, I let it go, but I need to express why I was upset. And you go back and you clear your conscience or clear your frustration. You can do this mentally too in a meditation. You don't have to do a face-to-face, but if there's an opportunity to do so in a way that's not argumentative, it's great. So go back, revisit old situations and release, or decide that you no longer need to sit in that energy and just move on. But there's something that you need to look at from the past that is holding you back. Has to do more with relationships, I feel, with a sense of feeling upset or feeling pulled by a situation that didn't end the way you want. So work through it, whether with the help of a therapist, with your own meditation, or by actually going back and talking to someone. And it's not always easy, but I've done it a few times in my life where once you walk away from that, then it's done, and you think, well, that wasn't as hard as I thought, and the person was more receptive than I thought. So anyway, you'll know what to do best for you, but it is about letting go of the past so that you can, especially the next time we have a retrograde, this stuff isn't coming back. So just a little bit of cleanup work in the emotional department and relationships in particular, and if you do this, it's going to make for a really happy last quarter of the year. Let's move along to the air signs, and we're going to start with Gemini. Gemini, if I were to equate this with a card, it would be the Chariot, and it's about not getting pulled into too many directions. It's really important for you to stay focused and committed to I would say this week, a single outcome. And think of like when you're driving, you don't want too many distractions going on. So you might have to, especially like for those of you that have a very active social calendar, this is a week to sort of turn the dial down a bit. For those of you that enjoy talking and spending time with friends at work, etc. I really want you to make sure that you get done what you need to finish first, and then after that, you can have fun, okay? So prioritize, stay focused, finish something, and let that, we talked about Friday being a day to enjoy. Why not put that out as a carrot for yourself and try to get things done earlier? But it's important to finish what you've committed to, especially, or this stuff could come back and haunt you. For Libra, all right, there's a couple of messages coming through. The first one is a focus on ascension, and this is, when I get this word for you, it's about taking yourself higher than a situation. And so I feel like for some of you, you could not maybe see the purpose for why you're in a present block or why something hasn't gone the way you want. So I want you to go a little bit higher and to think about how this is fitting into the bigger whole, and if it's worth spending any more time or energy. This might be a good month to temporarily walk away from something. Not to let it go, not to give up, but we sometimes need to pause and take some time off before we can finish something. So whether it's as simple as a home improvement or something that you've been working on in yourself to shift, a project for those of you that are creative, or even like a practical project that you just haven't been able to get everything lined up, I think the universe will create sometimes pauses for us so that we can integrate a little bit more, and then we come back and we're able to finish it, and the product is so much better, or whatever we're working on in ourselves, we appreciate it so much more because we had that rest. So I want you to take a break, whether it's a vacation or a pause from doing something, and move on to the next thing, knowing that you're going to have a chance, particularly towards the latter part of this year, maybe back in late part of November, early December, to come back to this, okay? So pause where necessary, redirect energy as appropriate, and just give yourself a little bit of mental space between what you're doing now and what you want to have completed, okay? Hope that resonates and makes sense for you. Let's look at Aquarius now. Aquarius, for you, distance is key. I've got what would equate to either like 8 of Cups or 6 of Swords. They both have shades of meaning. We'll start with the 8 of Cups. For me, the 8 of Cups is about sort of like a journey, a spiritual journey, sometimes like a vision quest, if you will. So if you've been thinking of doing something in your life that is going to help deepen your spirituality or help you understand something about yourself or your family, and you just need to kind of do this for yourself, I think it's a great thing. And it may also help heal past relationships, because for me, that kind of energy that would come through with that card would be all about healing the past. And that's a trend that I've been seeing, and I think we're influenced by the full moon that just is starting to now wane. But there was a lot of emotional energy and a lot of relationship energy that came through for me anyway with that moon, and I think for you as well, there's a chance to heal in that area. With the 6 of Swords energy that I was sensing, this is a chance for you to look at who you want to keep in your life. This is not about sort of breaking up or whatever. It's about subtly distancing yourself from people, places, and things that tend to agitate. And so focus, check in internally, and see what really makes sense for you to continue. And if there's something that's no longer resonating, this is an okay month to take the first steps on letting it go. Let's move along to the water signs, and we'll begin with Cancer. Cancer, for you, this is a chance for you to focus on not just self-worth, but how much you want to give to others. I've got what would, for me, look like the 6 of Coins. And so a lot of you have really big hearts. I mean, that's part of your sign in general. This is a month where it's okay to help people around you. It's okay to continue to be a support person. But you have to fix what's inside as well and honor your own hopes, fears, joys, etc. I want you to invest a little bit more in yourself than you would in others. And so you can look at that card as like a 60-40 card, or that message that I'm getting with, still receiving sometimes messages in the cards here in my head. But for you, I want you to kind of use that 60-40 ratio in your life, making sure that whether it's sleep, taking care of yourself, being proactive in business, etc., making sure that you are slightly more nurtured this month so that in the future you can shift that around. I feel like it's just a chance for you to regroup, recharge, and then in the future you can kind of change things up a bit on how you spend your emotional currency. Let's move along now to Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, for you, power struggles could be happening this week. I would equate this to, I'm seeing both the Empress and the Emperor sort of cards and energy. So could be a battle of wills, could be a chance for you to take back the reins of things in your life. You may also meet a really strong business partner or life partner that completely understands your point of view. But don't be surprised if what brought you together can also push at you, because that magnetic energy can be both, it can shift and pull you together, but it can also push you apart. So just be aware of that and try to not react when and if possible, and see these people in these situations as allies and assets to have in your life. So another way of saying this is don't shoot yourself in the foot by doing or saying something that you might regret later, especially if you recognize similarities in someone. This is a chance. They're revealing things that you can work on in yourself to become maybe a little bit more thick-skinned, and also not to let people come in, because Emperor and Empress don't need to react. They're in a place of control. So yeah, I would say it's about controlling your urges and controlling your emotions as much as possible as well. All right, let's take a look now at Pisces. Pisces, your information this month, give me 1 second. Yours is about not giving up. There's going to be opportunities that present themselves where you see that you're not making as quick progress as you'd like, or you feel like the question in your mind is it worth it? And I would say this is too soon to make a call. You should continue on your present path, work hard, know that in the end, rather than getting involved in sort of environmental arguments or emotional stresses that are going on, this is a time for you to persevere. If I had to give you a single word to focus on, persevere. And if you need to distract yourself, this is a great time to really develop a plan B, a second sort of hobby, or a place where you could maybe eventually become self-employed, for those of you that aren't, or if you are self-employed, to take your business in a direction that people may not anticipate. So start the groundwork this week and this month even, and this is something that could be much later down the road. So if you're unhappy with where you're at, start to think of where you want to be and realize that that's going to take some time. It might take 7 months, it might take a year, but you can begin that now and then still work hard, but know that, okay, I have a plan B, and I think that's going to help you quite a bit. So this concludes something I think I'm going to rename probably your weekly channeled reading, and really comes closer to what I was originally thinking of when I did the weeklies. I wanted it to be a little less procedural and a little bit more flowing. And there may be some weeks where I just focus on one topic, if there's one particular piece of energy or information that needs to come through, and I'll still try to give you some guideposts for early week, midweek, later week. But I want this to be something that's a lot more fun for you and for me, and a little less, again, a little less procedural, because how does intuition work? It flows. Structure is important, but too much structure can block it. So I was really guided to open up and allow for things to come through. Okay? So I look forward to seeing how this develops in the weeks and months to come, and I hope you do too. So if this was something that you enjoyed and you would like perhaps to go a little bit deeper into your own life, looking at your health, your wealth, your destiny, your own blocks and blessings in your life, I do offer one-on-one appointments, and you can look at the description area below or go to my website, which is nicholastarot.com, and you can check rates and availability there. If you'd like to just donate, you can also do that through my website or through Patreon, and I would appreciate that since this is viewer supported. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you. I really do appreciate all the work that you guys are doing on yourself. The whole reason I'm here is I am trying to teach and to help and to expand all of our intuitive development and knowledge. So I want more light workers in the world, and I love that you're all working on yourself. To stay in touch and know when new videos like this are coming through, please join me on my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages, or you can subscribe to this channel. I have a newsletter as well. If you'd like to check that out, it's on my website. In the meantime, I want to say thank you so much for your love, your support, all the nice comments, likes, and subscribes. Keep it coming. It lets me know that videos like this make a difference. In the meantime, I wish you love, success, happiness, and to continue to expand intuitively. It's going to be what's necessary in the years ahead. I really think we're at a point in the world right now where we need people that are tuning in rather than getting distracted by what's going on around them. Okay, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.